There's a tax that touches every paycheck, every savings account, every dollar in your pocket. It's not written on your receipt. It's not debated in Parliament. And yet, it quietly takes more from you than any other. They call it inflation. But what it really is the hidden tax of money printing. Every time a government creates new money, it steals a little of yours. Not through laws or banks, but through time itself. Because the more money there is, the less it means. And the less it means, the harder you have to work just to stay in the same place. If money printing hurts everyone, why do governments do it? The answer begins with a promise and a lie. Every empire in history has faced the same dilemma. Spending grows faster than income. Wars, welfare, debt, elections, all cost more than taxes can cover. Raising taxes angers voters. Cutting spending loses elections. So leaders choose the easy way: print more money. At first, it feels harmless. There's more cash in the economy. People spend, growth returns. It feels like magic. But it isn't. It's borrowing from the future, without asking. To understand why printing money is dangerous, we have to go back. Once, every dollar, pound, and franc was backed by gold. Paper wasn't value, it was a claim to value. You could trade it for something real. This system kept governments honest. They couldn't print what they didn't own. But honesty is expensive, and during wars or crises, the temptation to cheat was irresistible. So they cheated. First slowly, then openly. They printed more notes than gold reserves could support. People noticed. Prices rose, confidence fell, and just like that, the cycle began. Again and again. Fast forward to today. Governments don't even pretend to tie money to gold. Since 1971, when Nixon ended the gold standard, money has been pure belief, fiat currency, value by decree. It works like this. The government issues bonds, promises to pay later. The central bank buys those bonds by creating new money out of nothing. That money enters the economy through banks, loans, and markets. Everyone feels richer. Stock prices rise, property booms, salaries catch up for a while. But here's the hidden cost. The value of every existing dollar falls. Your savings don't shrink on paper, but what they can buy does. That's inflation. The invisible hand that takes from savers to pay for spenders. Inflation doesn't hurt everyone equally. It rewards those closest to the printing press, banks, investors, governments. They receive the new money first, before prices rise. By the time it reaches ordinary people, prices have already adjusted. Your groceries cost more, your rent increases, your paycheck lags behind. This is known as the Cantillon effect, named after the 18th century economist who first saw the pattern. When money enters the economy unevenly, it benefits the few and punishes the many. That's why printing money feels like prosperity, but works like a pyramid. The top rises first, the base sinks last. At first, inflation whispers, 2%, maybe 3%, small enough to ignore. Central banks call it healthy. But like all addictions, it starts with control and ends with chaos. Governments discover that if printing money fixes short-term pain, then a little more might fix long-term problems. Debt becomes cheaper, markets rise, people feel secure, but the cure becomes the disease. And when the illusion fades, trust disappears. Fast. Every civilization that played this game thought it could outsmart it. Rome melted its silver. France printed its assignats. Weimar Germany filled wheelbarrows with marks. Zimbabwe printed $100 trillion notes. Each believed the same lie, that you can create wealth by printing it. But wealth isn't paper. It's productivity, trust, and time. Once trust breaks, money becomes confetti. And societies built on confetti don't last long. In the 21st century, printing money became more sophisticated and more dangerous. Central banks no longer roll ink and paper. They type digits into existence. Trillions appear in balance sheets with a keystroke. After 2008, the term quantitative easing entered the world's vocabulary. a technical phrase for an ancient trick. The idea was simple: flood markets with liquidity to prevent collapse. It worked for a while. Stocks recovered, housing soared, governments borrowed more, but each crisis demanded more money than the last. By 2020, during the pandemic, the US printed 25% of all dollars ever created in a single year. Prices inevitably rose, and suddenly, the invisible tax was no longer invisible. When governments print money, they don't just create inflation, they distort perception. People see rising stock markets and assume prosperity. They see higher home values and feel rich. But what they really see is the same dollar chasing fewer goods. You're not wealthier. The measuring stick just changed. Like a magician, the illusion works only as long as no one asks how it's done. But when prices start rising faster than wages, the spell breaks. And that's when people realize the system isn't broken. It's designed that way. Inflation doesn't just erode savings. It erodes trust, the very thing money depends on. When citizens stop believing their currency will hold value, they stop saving, they spend faster, they speculate. The economy speeds up and burns out. People buy things they don't need because tomorrow they'll cost more. Governments blame greedy corporations. Corporations blame supply chains. But the truth hides in plain sight. It's not greed inflating prices, it's policy. What began as a national trick became a global habit. Every major economy joined the race. The United States printed dollars. Europe printed euros. Japan printed yen. Each nation promised their version of the same lie, that growth could come from thin air. The result? Trillions in new money flooded the world. Stock markets soared to record highs. Debt became the new oxygen of civilization. But when everyone prints, no one wins. Because inflation doesn't respect borders. It leaks across oceans, infecting trade, savings, and trust. The global economy became a web of promises, backed by promises, a system floating on confidence, not collateral. And confidence, once cracked, spreads faster than any virus. People started noticing the small things first. Groceries cost more. Rents jumped. A family vacation that once felt affordable now required credit. Governments blamed external shocks, war, energy, climate, anything but policy. But deep down, people sensed the truth. The world wasn't getting richer. Money was just getting weaker. When the illusion of prosperity fades, the real economy is exposed. The factories, the farms, the labor, all the things money was supposed to represent, not replace. That's when society begins to fracture. Because when people lose trust in money, they lose trust in each other. Inflation doesn't only change prices, it changes behavior. And behavior changes nations. Those with assets, homes, stocks, gold, protect themselves. Those without fall further behind. The gap widens quietly, like a crack beneath the surface. Middle-class families work harder but feel poorer. Young generations give up on saving. Retirees see their lifetime of effort dissolve into digits. And still, the printers hum. Because no politician ever got elected promising pain today to prevent collapse tomorrow. So they keep doing it until the pain becomes unavoidable. Money printing doesn't end inflation. It feeds it. When prices rise, governments print more to help citizens, stimulus checks, subsidies, bailouts. But each new dollar weakens the last. It's like pouring water into soup and wondering why it tastes thinner. Debt piles higher. Interest payments grow. Eventually, even the interest on the debt must be financed by more debt. That's not growth. That's slow-motion default. And just like every empire before, it ends not with a bang, but with disbelief. The moment people realize their money no longer means anything. The scariest part of inflation isn't economic, it's psychological. When people stop trusting their currency, they stop believing in the future. Why save if tomorrow your savings will buy less? Why plan if the rules keep changing? This erosion of trust turns citizens into survivors. It shifts societies from builders to speculators, from long-term vision to short-term panic. Inflation is more than numbers. It's the slow death of optimism. Governments claim they print money to protect the poor. In reality, they protect themselves. Every new dollar reduces the real value of the debt they owe. It's a transfer of wealth from the public to the state, from those who earn to those who borrow. That's why inflation is called a hidden tax. You don't see it deducted. You just feel it. At the grocery store, at the gas station, in your shrinking savings. It's taxation without legislation, a crime disguised as policy. And yet, it's perfectly legal. Economists talk about managing inflation as if it were a thermostat. But once trust is broken, control is an illusion. History shows that inflation doesn't fade gently. It collapses suddenly. Confidence falls faster than prices rise. And when that happens, governments reach for the same tools, price controls, currency reforms, new stronger money, but none of it works until the core truth is restored. That value must be earned, not printed. Today, we stand at a crossroads. Digital currencies, cryptocurrencies, and central bank digital money all promise to fix the system. But the question remains, are we changing the money or just the medium? If printing digits replaces printing paper, and the same hands control both, the result will be the same, only faster. Technology can't fix trust. Only honesty can. Every empire believed it could print its way to power. Every one of them was wrong. The cost of money printing isn't just inflation, it's inequality, it's instability. It's the quiet corrosion of everything that holds society together. Because once trust is gone, the contracts, the markets, even democracy itself begin to decay. We measure wealth in dollars, but real wealth has never been numbers on a screen. It's the ability to trade fairly, plan confidently, and believe that effort will be rewarded. Money is just a mirror, and when we distort it, we distort the reflection of who we are. The hidden tax everyone pays isn't on income, it's on ignorance. Every time we accept a little inflation, we give permission for theft in slow motion. Every time we cheer when markets rise on printed money, we celebrate the erosion of our own future. Because the true cost of money printing isn't paid today, it's paid in lost trust, lost time, and lost generations. When governments print, they borrow from the future. When the future arrives, it collects, and it doesn't accept excuses, only payment. So the next time someone says, "Don't worry, the central bank has it under control," remember this: every empire thought the same thing until their currency wasn't worth the paper it was printed on. Money printing doesn't create wealth, it creates illusion. And when illusions end, they always end the same way, with people asking how something invisible became the most expensive thing in the world.